Hi, and welcome to my review of One Piece chapter 902. So, I cried a lot in the live reaction. Obviously, it was a very touching chapter. We went through a lot. I'm gonna repeat a couple of the things I said in the live reaction, just maybe expand a bit about them. And then we're gonna do a full analysis of this goddamn song that's sung chanted in the chapter. Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this down and then we're gonna look at it and then, because I think there are a couple of interesting things here and just, I think it's very fun. I would love to see like a literal translation of the song, just because there are things that obviously they're translated in a way so that it rhymes and so that it sounds a little bit nicer. So I would like to see if there are things that are like lost in translation even more than usual, just to make it all very nice, because it's not like it has like a super deep meaning, but we're gonna talk about that in the end. We can start talking about, we can just go through it chronologically. So we have Sanji and Carrot. Sanji has finally been told that Pedro is dead, and we have a little bit of a flashback to when they first met, and Carrot basically comes up to him and is like, it's okay, don't blame yourself. Rather than thinking that this is your fault, maybe just be thankful. Because Pedro didn't just save your life, he saved all of our lives. And I think it's really sweet how she just keeps patting him and then she starts crying and then he pats her back, and it's just such a cute moment. And you have that little panel of him just like caressing her head. It's so cute. But I really like that moment because I was like, what are they gonna do? When are they gonna tell him? Because they were like, yeah, Pedro's sleeping, sure. But it's good that they told him because he deserved to know. And then we kind of got that out of the way. Then we had the thing with Pudding. We saw basically, like in 3 pages, the entire arc told from her point of view and how she felt about everything. Like, we know that she's gone through this many times before, but Sanji was the first person who showed her kindness, and despite knowing who she really was still super nice to her and told her that she was beautiful and all those things. And props to everyone who rightfully predicted, even though I completely I said that was a dumb idea, but I was wrong, that she erased his memories. And I talked about that in the live reaction, why it was important for her to erase his memories after the kiss, because obviously this was supposed to be a goodbye, but if Sanji had remembered the kiss, he would not have let her go. He would not have left without her, or he would have done, like, he would have been attached to her, whether it's because he loves her, which I do not believe. I don't think he was ever in love with her, which I do believe is the whole reason why Pudding did this, because even though she loves him, she's not gonna tie him down by letting him know that, because Sanji's the kind of person who, if he finds out that there is a person who's deeply in love with him and leaving her would hurt her, he wouldn't leave her. So it's important that Sanji doesn't remember the kiss, because then he wouldn't know about her feelings. But it was really nice, and we got the whole thing with Pudding being a puppet of Big Mom and wanting to be something else other than that. And it was really nice just seeing her cry so much and holding on to those memories, because at this point it's almost like she's kind of submitted to her fate, that she will forever just be Big Mom's puppet, but at least she has this one memory to hold on to, which is just the saddest damn thing. But yeah, I thought that was really nice. I don't know if that's the ending of her story, because I can't tell if we're actually ending the storyline, because it does really much feel like an end, obviously, especially because the show has an hour out of the territory, and with the ending of the song as well. But we still have so many people there, so we're either gonna see a little bit more of Jinbei, I think, next time, or we're gonna come back to it whenever we see Jinbei again, or if he eventually dies, who knows. We're definitely gonna come back and see what the result of this is gonna be, because there are a lot of people there. Then we had the part of the chapter that made me cry the most, because I was teary-eyed when I had the whole Pedro thing, but then we had kind of Korean Brulee, and damn, that was that was so touching. Like, oh, you can see a knee there. The whole story with Katakuri and when he was a child, he didn't hide his mouth, even though his other siblings were like, oh, if you just hid your mouth, it'd be easier for you to make friends. And he just, no, this is who I am. I don't need friends. And then Brûlé gets hurt. Not really because of him, but it was the people he had, or the children he had conflict with the day before, and they hurt her. And he becomes this person that he's now turned into, this person who's fearful and just Katakuri, the man who never loses, never wants lay on his back and all that stuff. And I really, really like the symbol between Brûlé getting her scar and Katakuri covering up his mouth. And just the guilt that he felt, because he was just like, my sister was hurt because of me, even though she kept saying it wasn't his fault. It really made me appreciate Brûlé a lot more, because she has been, like, she was introduced to this slightly scary character, but then she ended up just being like a bit of comic relief and a tool for them to use because of her powers, and then it just ended with the nicest damn story, and I'm getting teary-eyed just talking about it. I thought it was so touching. And even just the bits of interaction we have between them, when he basically just confessed everything to her, like the fact that I've never lain on my back and all that stuff is just all one big lie, and she just smiles. I know, I've seen through the mirrors, I know this, and I know you've done it just to protect us. And it's just everything about it was just so touching, and the fact that she knew like his feelings about Luffy and all that, especially because we had that bit where it's like, oh, if you just didn't show your face, you'd make friends so easily, and then you have Luffy who just, I mean, had they not been enemies, they would have been friends. And I love how she just, like, she takes off the hat and everything. It's just, everything about it was just so good. It was so good, and it was so touching. And I said this in the live reaction as well, but Oda has this way, like, he has 3 or 4 pages, and he just takes those few pages and makes something so touching. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I know there are definitely gonna be people who are like, oh, we didn't need an extra, it was just dragging out the art further. Well, I don't care, I loved it. What else do we have? We had a few, like, things here and there, but, like, we saw a bit glimpses of Jinbei and the Germa. It was really nice to, like, confirm that the Germa were doing, obviously they were doing all this for Sanji, but it was like to have Ichi being like, okay, the Straw Hats are out of the territory, our job is done, let's just retreat now. Because the Big Mom pirates are strong. They don't actually stand a chance of winning this, I don't believe. But I'm also very happy that I was pretty much right in the beginning of this arc when I said, look, the Straw Hats are not gonna come out of this if they don't have hella allies. Like, they're not strong enough to do this by themselves. It's just, no. And then we also had a really cute ending scene with Sanji cooking for them, and then the parallel to Seth. That was also a really good way of ending it, because, like, father like son, that was really nice. But this song, I can't believe I wrote all of this down, it was so long. But, okay, so I like, divided the song into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bits. So basically every time she says, or someone says soul pocus, I assume it's like the flowers and stuff that are singing this song. So every time they say soul pocus, that's like the new thing, right? So, okay, I'm just gonna read, like, verse for verse. So, soul pocus, soul pocus. The souls speak this. The ship is pulled by the tides of the ocean and the wind in the air, as if being pulled by the back of your hair, leaving a sea of strife behind. Although it is sure to not be sweet, the singing flowers and trees will be upbeat, as they live in your as they lure you in ever so sweetly. So I assume this first verse here, what we're gonna call it, that's just a general nod to the beginning of the or the beginning of the arc, and just general happenings on Whole Cake Island. Like, it's coming in and being lured in by this sweet island. Like, you have a freaking island made of sweets. You have these adjacent islands made of whatever else you can eat. And it's like a big, like, it's like a Venus flytrap, right? So yeah, I think that's basically just like describing the beginning and how they lure people into this trap, and it fits well with what was it called? The forest place Luffy and Nami and Chopper were in what was it called? I don't remember. The forest something. The mystery forest? The something forest. I don't know. Then we have set up by Mama oh so greedily. It'll be an almighty show. A fairy tale prince and a beautiful princess letting go. Pulled away by strings in a puppet show. Even that sweet luring nectar, like that of a heart that keeps getting hardier and hardier. There's nothing in this world more frightening than that mouth-watering sweetness. Like shadows by one another, no one knows. Hanging on to life by a thread. It's a monkey show. Coming here is the candy, but going back is the guillotine. Who won, I wonder? It's all a show of splendor. Okay, so we can further divide this into a little bit of a few pieces. So we have it'll be an almighty show, a fairy tale prince and a beautiful princess, pulled by strings in a puppet show. So that bit could directly refer to Sanji and Pudding, and more generally refer to Pudding and whoever she's tricking. Because while Big Mom is controlling Pudding, Pudding is controlling whoever man she's seducing at the moment. And then we have again sweet nectar, and nothing is more frightening than mouth-watering sweetness. Is again the metaphor of they're luring people in with this sweetness, whether that sweetness is the cakes and the sweets in general, or like a sweet deal, or something of that sort. Like they're promising something that where all of it is just a trap. And then you have like shadows by one another, no one knows. I don't think I pulled that down rightly, I don't know. Hanging on to life by a thread. It's a monkey show. So we have this bit here where everything just, it goes a little bit darker. You have hanging on to life by a thread. Again, that could be various different things. We had that instance with Pedro and his friend where they lost. The friend got all of his life taken away, and Pedro was close to as well. And it goes back to that whole theme of being lured in by the sweetness and then having your life taken away. And it's a monkey show. They do all this, but it's not like they don't just catch people and take their life. They play with them. They make them go through that dumb forest that I've forgotten what name is. They had like that whole wedding ceremony only to then kill the beanstalk. Like they could as easily have killed them like the night before where they got really drunk, but they set up this whole thing just to lure them into this elaborate trap. And then when like that, they it's like playing with your food. They get a lot of entertainment out of this. And then you have coming here as a candy, but going back as a guillotine. I thought that was really clever. Because coming here is a candy, but going back as a guillotine, there are so many ways to interpret that sentence. And again, I think this is very close to the original thing. But coming here is a candy. That's again like the promise of something sweet. It's, what can you say? There's also the play on like coming here's candy. It could be the citizens that come there to live there, and they get protection, and they give a little bit of their life for it and stuff, but it's still pretty nice. And if you come there like with goodwill, like the Beansmokes did, they're probably really happy they're getting some candy, right? But going back is the guillotine. So going back, both of the sentences are both referring to actually going to Whole Cake Island. Because coming there and going back there, So there's this double meaning, because it could just be going there is you'll probably die. But going back is the guillotine. That made me think of Pedro, because the first time he came, he got away alive. The second time he came, he died. And it would be the same like with the Straw Hats. They would be sure to be killed off immediately if they ever came back. Something happened outside. And it's just like, Big Mom won't allow people to come back again. She kills people, and I think it will be the same with Jinbei. There's just a lot to unpack right there. But my first thing was that was definitely about Pedro, because I do think that all of these lines can be like directly applied to what happens to the Straw Hats, while also have that general meaning of this is literally something that they do quite often. They lure people in and they just fuck them over. Who won, I wonder? It's all a show of splendor. Who won, I wonder? That's a bit ironic, because it's like, oh, who do you think won? But it's the winner who says this, so obviously Big Mom, right? It's all a show of splendor. Again, they put on the show, they play with their food. It implies that it's not going to end well for Jinbei and the Germa, because Big Mom won't lose this. I don't think Jinbei will die, and I don't think he'll die because I am obsessed with the fact that I want him to die in Wano. But I don't think Mama will lose this. There's just no way. And then Soul Pocus. The egotistical sing this. If you're lured in by the smell of that sweet cake that's within, then first you'll have to pay what I'm due. But there's no benefit to us, no sire. Will you pass through the land of candy, or will you stay to be played with willingly? There's nothing in this world more frightening than that mouth-watering sweetness. So this entire thing is about, you come to the island and then you find out you're fucked. Because you have the egotistical thing. It's like, you go in and you expect to take what you want. And then you don't get it. And pay what I'm due, obviously your life. And I really like the line, will you pass through the land of candy, or will you stay to be played with willingly? Because passing through the land of candy, that implies that you're here not to stay, you're here to just get what you want, and that's not gonna fly with Big Mom. She's gonna come for you. While will you stay to be played with willingly, then you come work for her, and there's literally no escaping it, and you will be used, and it's awful, probably. And then again the line, there's nothing in the world more frightening than the mouth-watering sweetness, just again, going back to everything's trap. Soul Pocus, as Mama's willfulness, will you give me your life, or will you choose to die in strife? This, I love this line so much, because it's just like, either you will die, or you will die. There's no one way or another. Either she will kill you by taking all your life, or she will kill you by stabbing you. Soul Pocus, the queen sings this. I really like that the queen sings this as the last line, especially after Soul Pocus, because Soul Pocus is the technique she uses to take people's life force, and then having the song end with the queen sings this just means that the entire thing speaks about her taking people's life. That's the entire reason she lures people in to this sweet treat. It's to take their soul. It's to take their life. And it matches perfectly with how she ends the chapter, or her part of the chapter, because we have like 2 more pages. But she ends it with life or death. But life doesn't mean you live. Life for her means I get your life. And death then means, well, you die in vain because I don't get your life, but you still die. Because it used to be life or treat, where life means I take your life and treat means you give me what I want. In the beginning of the arc, it was the croquant bush, and then here it was the wedding cake. But here it's just, there's no treat. You you give me your life, or you die trying to get away from me. I think it was really clever summarizing the entire arc like this, because as I said, it can be applied very specifically to the Straw Hat situation with Pedro dying, with the prince and the princess, with them being lured in by the forest that I still don't know what it's called, and then the end here where Jinbei and the others are basically fighting a losing battle. And then just generally it speaks of the fact that they've done this so many times before. Like, obviously they have so many homies there, obviously they must have gotten life force from somewhere, not just the citizens who are there, because they only give a month of their life twice a year, which is still like, that's still 2 months every year, and they probably have a lot of citizens there, but you can get a lot more from taking the entire life of your enemy, which we know she does. So yeah, I really like, I did really like this this thing, and with the soul Pocus just going through, just showing that this entire thing is a trap. But I thought it was really clever, and I would really love to read like a literal direct translation of this. Cause yeah, it's just her entire island is just a Venus flytrap. And I like that it's just not, it's the design of her island, it's not just meant to be because, oh, she likes sweets and all that, because yes, she does, but it's also just as much to lure people in. I really love that, because I said this in the beginning of the arc, and I wrote an analysis on this on my Tumblr that I found when I was cleaning it out. But I wrote like this entire analysis of how the fact that everything seems so nice was probably just like, that probably just meant that it wasn't gonna be that nice, and just, yeah, it's also cute and flowery and full of sweets, and that's probably not gonna, that's not gonna hold up. But yeah, you can tell me your interpretation of the song in the comments below, and you can like and you can subscribe, and until next time, bye.